It's time for plans. Hey guys, I'm trying to make more high effort videos. Let me know if you like this format. When links show up, sorry, in the corner. That's where I got the image on the screen from. Anyway, let's talk about cool plant mutations. To clear things up, mutations are a change in the DNA sequence which occurs during cell division. Mutations don't always cause extreme effects, but sometimes they benefit or harm the organism. Some cause disorders, while some we breed off of desirable traits from mutations. Sport mutations in horticulture refer to mutations in a part of the plant that show up spontaneously or randomly. They are factors that can increase the chances of these mutations happening. And not all the mutations we're going to be talking about are sport ones, but some of them are. Yeah, fasciation. One of the plant mutations I see with the most clout is fasciation, which is also can be called cresting. It can be caused by hormonal imbalances, extreme weather, infections, fungi, mite, insects, or exposure to chemicals in the growing tip of the plant. It can also be spread from plant to plant, sometimes through contact with wounds or water with bacteria, but in a lot of cases, fasciation popping up seems to be random. It can look like flat, elongation, or appear contorted. It can affect many parts of growing tissue, such as flowers, fruits, stems, and roots. So, the next time you see strawberries that look like this, it could be fasciation. While I was looking for information for this video, I found some photos of plants that were photographed after the Three Mile Island nuclear power accident. And that's where I found this photo of a daisy that I'm going to put on the screen. It appears to be fasciation to me, not only because of the photo, but because of the description next to it of a wide, flat stem, and the flower heads looking like caterpillars, which both very much seem to be describing fasciation. There were other mutations in the dandelions that also look like fasciation. They were described as on the website that the photos are from. There were a small paragraphs right next to it. They were described as flat and wide, which we already went over can describe the effects of fasciation. I found an article from Lancaster Online, so a different source, about someone who was around the area. I'm going to switch back from the website where the photos are from and the article. About someone who was around the area of the accident, took physical samples of the plant specimens there. A quote from it was, "They were about 2 inches wide and flat," Stamos said before describing her fear at seeing them for the first time. "I was crying. I was really upset." But the context was that she was talking about the dandelion. Again, wide and flat, fasciation. Even though some find the effects visually appealing, it's understandable how seeing it occur so many times, especially if you knew there was an accident, could be distressing. It's disturbing to see something that's familiar change to something strange. One image that was striking to me, a different image from the photo source, was the massive dandelion that they found. These unnaturally large dandelion leaves were measured at 31 inches. Um, Something about such a small plant being shown to be this massive is just absolutely diabolical. So I try to find more information about the giant dandelions. On the site where this picture was, it said that there was more than one plant, there was multiple plants around it, and schools held contests to find the longest dandelion leaves. Imagine being a kid and looking for these unnaturally large leaves, or finding out your kids touched and walked around them. These give me the creeps. From the other article, there were more the dandelions. In Amoro's living room. I'm not looking up how to pronounce these. I'm just guessing. It's not wrong. The sample was collected near the Thermal Island, included enlarged dandelion greens, and then there's this photo of the girl handing out the book, and then those appear to be dandelion greens, like the shape of the leaves. Like if you look at the dandelion leaf, the leaves do kind of look like that, but you can notice that like dandelion greens, like they usually never get above the size of my hand. Like I'm pretty sure people have seen dandelions before, but like there's like it's like Eldritch horror. I don't know. It was just like I was just affected by seeing these really massive dandelion greens. Like what in the world? Anyway, I couldn't find anything else about the giant dandelions that weren't on those previous two websites. Um, or giant dandelions on 3 Mile Island. There's other stuff about giant dandelions, but not about like the real, like nothing real. The report from the EPA had no mention of enlarged dandelions or any enlarged plants, and there was like some of the problems that the plants like were reported to have. They found it had nothing to do with the radiation, so like yeah, I was only able to find two websites that seemed decently credible that had anything to do with giant dandelions. Which is really weird because like it looks real. Like you see like the pictures, like this is like these images were posted before AI became like able to generate images. Like they aren't fake. I don't know why there's not more about giant dandelions. Well, they never flowered. Like the previous, like the website where the other photo was from of like the actual dandelion thing said that it was never found to flower, and again, she only collected the greens. So I guess it never flowered. So it wasn't like interesting enough, and I guess those plants aren't around anymore. But like, kind of crazy that no one else is talking about this. Kind of unrelated, but shout out to a plant that looks like a massive dandelion, but it's actually called a Western Salsify. I saw them on the internet before. People think they're dandelions. No, but they're really cool and they look very cool. But yeah, people should, if you know anything more about like real giant dandelions that are associated with 3 Mile Islanders, like some other nuclear incident, let me know in the comments, please. Anyway, there's more mutations to talk about. There's plant albinism. Plant albinism, bro. Plant albinism is when there is not enough chlorophyll or produces no chlorophyll. If you remember from biology, chlorophyll is the green pigment, or and they need chlorophyll to photosynthesize glucose. If plants that have albinism are white or slightly yellowish, and they are fragile and have reduced growth, they can't really produce food normally or not at all, and basically they're parasitic, or they just like don't grow, or they never reach full size. But anyway, it's kind of interesting because like these aren't plants that would normally be parasitic, but because of this mutation, they have to like I think they like use their roots in order to steal nutrients or stuff from other plants in order to grow because like they literally can't photosynthesize. Albinism is when there's a complete lack of chlorophyll, but there's another mutation called variegation. Variegation. I'm gonna say the variegation. If that's wrong, kill me. Don't. Where only some parts of the plant are differently colored. It's not always white. It can they like variegated plants. The color that's not green can be yellow, purple, or silver. Or sometimes in a few images they found like hot pink looking. Plants can be genetically predisposed to show this mutation, like in structural variegation, where the plants have them to increase survivability, or the color pigments are like already there in the plant and show in different ways, and species-specific pigments. Some variegation is the result of environmental stresses or pathogens. Next topic related to mutations is reversion. Reversion is when a mutated plant, starts growing shoots of their non-mutated and often original color or structure, like a plant that is bred to be variegated decides to start growing shoots that is non-variegated. Because like if the variegation was like good for the plant, like if it was like the most optimal way for the plant to grow, that mutation would have taken over basically. So like it's easy for the plant to let the non-variegated shoots take over, and the regular form is more beneficial to the plant, and without human intervention the non-variegated form will take over. Yeah. The next topic related to variegation is chimeras. Chimeras are in botany are when a single plant um, chimeras are when a single plant has genetically different tissues. In chimeras, the genetics are not blended and are distinct. Chimeras can be a common cause of variegation as well, since it can result in different colors on the leaves. Chimeras can make a striking or desirable appearance, and even though it can be commonly shown in the leaves, chimeras can affect other parts of the plant, for example, the flower or the apple with the red pigmented line. Next, let's talk about pylloras. A pylora, it's also called oh my god, Empanodi is a floral mutation where a flower that is normally asymmetrical grows with strangely perfect radial, like circular symmetry. It can affect a small amount of flowers like foxgloves or orchids. It can be caused by infections, extreme weather, or certain chemical exposure. Pylloras don't really seem to harm the plant, or affect the plant as much as other mutations can, and sometimes they go unnoticed, but some people find them aesthetically pleasing. Charles Darwin studied pylloric flowers to show how mutations and natural variation affect evolution. He believed the flowers could be reverting to a past ancestor that had radial symmetry. People often credit Darwin with coining the term pylloralism, which comes from the Greek Latin root for monstrous. However, it seems first said by Linnaeus, since their existence challenged Carl's belief that challenged his belief that species stay exactly the same after being created by God. The last thing I want to show you today is some mutations that weren't previously mentioned that are in the cannabis plant. Let me know if these mutations are also in other plants. Yeah, guys, don't worry, I don't have any experience with this. They just look cool, like the plants. This is called foxtailing. This occurs when the part of the leaves attached to stretch out and become more spiky. It can be the result of bad conditions like high heat, too much light, stress, and a lack of nutrients. This plant is called a polyploid. This occurs when an organism produces too many chromosomes. This is a world phyllotaxy. It happens when it has more leaves growing in one node, along with an extra branch in one node. And then lastly, these plants can have twins, where there are two embryos in the same seed. Look, they're twinning. Anyway, that's all the mutations that I'll show you today. I have more plant video ideas, so stay tuned and give me what else you could be interested in. Have a good day. Please come back. Also, I'm gonna put all the links that I found information on in the description. Mostly like where I found information. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Have a good day.